Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Dear viewer of Salam TV, it is always an honor to have you glued on the screen of your TV set to watch us. My name is Muhammad Sekalala. Today is the 17th of October 2024, corresponding to the 14th day of Rabiul Thani. The year is 1446. Welcome to the Alhidaayah show, where we look at things that define us as Muslims, and specifically we look at the social system of Islam, where we are making efforts and provide guidance to the young ones as they prepare to get into the marriage institution. Marriage is an act of worship, and we hope that if we learn and better prepare for it, we can become better citizens and better Muslims. So in the past few weeks, we've been trying to help the prospective couples engage in a deliberate discussion of issues they are going to meet in their marriages. In the last week, we just looked at something to do with house helpers. How should you deal with them? When should you decide to get the services of a house helper? And we noted that largely, if you must avoid, then the best for you, because even just today, actually this past week, we've seen 2 videos of house helpers mistreating kids because of the misunderstanding they had with their parent of that kid. So it is really troublesome. But if you must employ the services of a house helper, we hope that with the guidance we shared last week, you should be able to follow the same. Now today we want to look at something very particular and important, which is the aspect of dealing with blood relatives. We know you're a husband, you're a wife, but you have brothers, you have siblings that would want to be part of your life as a married couple. So how should we best relate with them? What are the boundaries? What kind of engagement should we have with them? Of course, knowing that these are 2 competing entities or fields. The blood relationship is very important, and then the marriage is also very important. So inshallah, with our counselor, we want to see how, perhaps what discussion we should be having before we enter into this marriage. Do you know, can you share information about your siblings, relatives, parents? What kind of talk should I have with them, or I shouldn't have with them? It's what we want to have a talk about today. So inshallah, to help us go into this topic, we are joined by our usual guest, Hajat Kacha Mazaitu, who is a mother, counselor, Da'i, and many other things. You're most welcome. Kindly you. Say salam to the viewers.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, Hajat, thank you very much for always making time to come and share with the viewers.
Alhamdulillah.
I must note that it is a sacrifice. Being a mother, I hope there's things you've left aside to come and be here. Of course, plus other personal errands that you run. But we just pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards you for the time you make to come and share with us.
Amen.
So kindly start us off with telling the viewers here, when we talk about blood relationships, who are the primary and perhaps the secondary members of the blood relationship that we should pay attention to here today?
But Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Thumma salatu wa salam ala Rasulillahi al-Kareem. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and continue to be thankful to Him for His continued blessings. We are very grateful that He has given us an opportunity to share some of the insights and good words with our fellows out there. We pray that they help us first so that they can be able to help the ones that are listening and watching us. I want to send salutations to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam for his sacrifice he made so that this beautiful message is here and is in the remotest places in the world, in Uganda. In-laws, relatives.
We are starting with blood relatives. Yes, in-laws. I know they should be related, but
it extends. It's from the closest to the. But again, in-laws are blood. Some people just want to be our relatives, but in-laws are blood ties that come because of marriage. Oh, yes.
Let's first begin with the ones we share the womb with.
So when we say blood relations, now these are people I think who we share probably the same DNA. These are people who are from our parents.
Yes.
And then we have our brothers and sisters. Okay. And then maybe to extend it a bit, our parents, that is my mother, my father, and then my brothers and sisters, because that is your sister-in-law, your brother-in-law, and then you know that the Bazungu, then now limit it, because I don't know if what I call it, if you're my husband,
yes,
your Jaja is my what? Grandfather-in-law.
Grandfather-in-law, yes.
Yeah, so I think the people that I have close blood ties with, then my grandparents also will come in, and then my aunties and my uncles, the paternal and maternal. All those are very
the whites would say your relationships are your relations are father, mother, brother, and sister, and baby. That is end of the story.
No, it's not the wife that is going to determine that. I think it's me who is going to determine who my relatives are, because I might introduce to you someone who doesn't even have blood ties to me, but they hold a big place in my life. That is even probably more than my sister. So it is upon you to respect or to hold highly the people that I introduce to you as my relatives.
So first things first, in the discussion or in the talk that we are having between the prospective husband and wife, very important is introducing me to the people who are dearest to you.
That is very key. I think as we are courting and we are closing to tying the knot, I would wish that people would know those very close people, but we remember we said that it is the parents last.
Of course.
I caution couples or people who are in courtship who want to quickly take, this is common with the men, they quickly want to take the girls that they have seen to their mothers. Some men believe that if my mother has not stamped, has not has not really given the green light, who has not accepted the girl, I cannot marry. This is not right, and I don't think it's even religious or it's Islamic. I think it is one weakness that we call it mama's boy.
Yes,
the mama's boy usually come with it, whereby the mother will decide so many principal things in their lives.
So in other words, in the discussion, should be introducing the different relatives I have.
You should.
Is it just a mention of them or even visiting them? What do you propose in such?
You need to discuss a few people that you hold key, and you need to present your people as valuable and loved by you.
So what kind of discussion? Is it about the good things about them, the no-go areas about them? Because I'm just trying to understand my prospective partner.
Actually, it's not wise to talk about the weaknesses of your relatives to your spouse, even when you're married.
Okay.
It is not a good, shouldn't be even a discussion of you discussing how your auntie is a night dancer, how your uncle is a thief, how the other person is
how my auntie is so talkative, abusive.
But you can caution, because there are cautions that I remember my husband giving me. There is a person, he told me that when you're near, for example, Muhammad, when you're near Muhammad, please be careful with your words. He usually used to tell me, when you're near Muhammad, be careful the words you use. That was before I got married to him. And he continued to say it even up to today. But you do not expound how Muhammad is. You just caution your loved one that when you are that person, keep your property, far or you keep away. You appreciate it.
I do.
Because it is not wise for you to undress your family to a person who you're just buying, you're conning and courting. You want them to come. Because now if you've bared everything and this person doesn't even commit, that is one. Two, when you bear everything, all the weaknesses and all the, the things that need to be secret to this person, when they commit, they are going to have a problem relating with these people.
Of course.
Because now, you told this person that, for example,
my uncle is such and such.
My uncle jumps with, even when there is this statement where even when there's a jerrycan that has been, dressed with a skirt, he will come and open this. Now, your wife will find difficulty,
of course, even
in respecting this person. And if your wife is also not even displeased, sometimes some of these comments and words, my comments will sometimes even slip her tongue. So you have to be very sensitive. You have to be very protective when it comes to your family. Yes. Actually, it is your job to hide the weaknesses of your family. Wow. Really, it is our job. It doesn't buy us anything when our people know. Apart from there are some deadly ones. For example, like the ones we've mentioned, someone who is someone is a thief, a con man. What you will hint or implicate some sort of implication that there is someone that you have to be very careful about when it comes to money, for example.
When they make this call,
when it comes and then there is this one, don't over familiarize, okay? Yes, but these normal weaknesses of someone, someone who is talkative, allow them to talk so that you can also be able to build certain relations. But we limit, and we want to tell people that your in-laws are not your brothers and sisters.
Okay.
There are people who want to become so familiar with the in-laws to even want to be better than their husbands or their spouses. You find someone who wants to believe that her mother-in-law will one time love her more than them. This is common with the ladies. So she wants to buy a place with the mother-in-law, and she thinks that she's going to be a real sister to her husband.
Wow.
Forever. Your mother-in-law will always be siding with her son.
With the son.
Forever. The only time that she will be bending, it is still going to be benefiting the son.
The son.
And it is understandable and it is natural.
Okay.
So when we are relating with our in-laws, we just have to be, we have to be sensitive, we have to be clever. You know that you don't when you're laughing, you don't laugh and they even see your throat, because they'll never appreciate that.
Okay, Hajat, there's something you have hinted on, the one of discussing, not sharing a lot about our relatives.
Especially our weaknesses.
Our weaknesses, especially. Now, there's somebody would ask, at what stage should the discussion of relatives come in? Is it in the initial stage of dating, or 2, 3, 4 days to the nikah?
I think this is a communication or conversation that should be coming in. It should be one of the things that we discuss. You as a husband to be, you need to share the position of your mother, for example, because men are so sensitive when it comes to their mothers sometimes, and they even fail to make decisions when it comes to have a choice between whose side to take, between the wife and the mother. You need to help your wife to appreciate the connections you have with certain people. You need to help them appreciate that they are people that you don't want them to annoy or to even ever cross paths with. You need to help them appreciate that your family is very important to you, and you need to help this person understand that there shouldn't be a time when they need to choose between you and them, because maybe sometimes it might be your family. Because for the man, mostly the family is usually comes a little closer than the wife. So I even sometimes smile at men who want to tell us that their wives come in and they want to control, and they even want to make them yes, your wife is very key, very important, and a special person to you, but they should not be made to believe, even though they are more important than some of your family members, but don't make your wife feel and believe that
so
she is so special and more important than your mother, than your sisters, and that is why it is very sensitive for us to have a clear line between your wife and your relatives. Okay? Let your sisters, for example, know that when there is an argument between them and your wife, they need to appreciate that you probably will always take the side of your wife. But again, your wife needs to appreciate on the other side that when it is your sister versus her, most of the time you'll be taking their side, all right? So that when these people are relating with each other, they are very sensitive. I think that is the ugly that the man needs to have, when he's getting married. You have to be very intelligent, you have to be very, very sensitive. You don't have to be biased, you have to be very objective, and you have to be very firm. You need to have very good decision-making skills. You need to be some lawyer of sorts and a judge of sorts, so that at the end of the day you have these very special people moving with you. They might not be moving together themselves, but they are moving with you. So you have your in-law, your sisters this side, and you have your wife, but you're in the middle, and you are able to reconcile them.
So Hajat, maybe I want also now you to help us appreciate. You know, there is what we call rights of relatives.
Yes.
And then also, how do you deal with special relatives? For instance, my brother, my sister, what rights should I, as the husband, as the wife, extend to my brother and sister vis-a-vis the family?
Now, for example, us women,
I've been making calls to them a lot. Do I have to continue, divide the time of calling them and the family, something like that? So what rights should...
of course, in the beginning, when we have just been married, when we have got it is a bit, it's a sensitive time. You still want to hold on to the ties, especially us women.
Yes.
Remember, we are being plucked from our loved ones, and I cried. I remember I cried a lot on my wedding day. I could not believe that I was leaving my home, I was leaving my parents, and you have mixed emotions. You want to go, but you feel you are leaving a very special place. So in the beginning, there is a lot of connection, and the two spouses need to help to appreciate each other. You're trying very hard not to break the bonds, but along the way, naturally, the one who used to call every day, eventually it will be weekly, and then it's like, hey, I miss you, Goncha, what and what. I can't believe my dad is someone who will call me nearly every day. Actually, I show you my call log, he was the first person to call me in the morning. But you can't believe that you can spend the whole day. This is my dad, I think you can see. The first person to call me in the morning. 8 hours ago. And you now struggle to keep in connection with the people that you've left legally, the people you've left, and you have moved to start your new family. So communication, I think, is supposed to be regular. It's supposed to be regulated. It should not be done again when you are kind of then cheating someone's time. All right, if it is your husband's time, and then for us, you want to tell us that you're talking to your father. For a woman, that doesn't work, because as I was coming here, I was writing that for us, our jana women, our gender shifts from our parents to and then it moves to the husband. So most of the time you need to take care of your husband's needs, and then you can be able to answer some of your parents' needs. And we want to tell the parents as well that when you give away your daughter, for example, you need to help your child adjust to the responsibilities of her starting another family, of her being able to be under her husband's control. So don't compromise.
What should be important is knowing that you have two sets of rights to fulfill. The parents, siblings, uncle, and then the husband or wife.
Definitely, depending on which situation that has come. Because, for example, if I have 50,000 shillings in my pocket, and let me actually bring the man because it will come out better. If you have 50,000 shillings in your pocket, and your wife wants to go to the saloon, and your mother has a toothache, let me ask you, what would you do?
Of course, the toothache.
You take care of the toothache?
Should come as a priority.
It should come as a priority?
Of course, I'll talking to her, talking to my wife, tell her, please, we have 2 competing needs here.
Is it wise to tell her that I'm going to choose my mother's toothache?
And normally, you know, if you're in constant communication with your wife, you could tell her, mom has called me, she's very bad love, right? She has a toothache, and then, so what are we going to do? They've told me the operation or the treatments are about 30,000, right? So I'm going to send her 30 plus 10 for transport. Then maybe you can keep the 10K.
Now, me, I would advise this way.
Okay.
When, of course, these are 2 women that you love very much.
Yes.
And you have to be very sensitive.
Yes.
When you're making a decision, don't involve them.
Sure.
Your mother-in-law shouldn't be in constant knowing that when she makes a call, her call is the first to be handled.
No.
Because you have mothers again who are going to use those situations. All right. So even your wife shouldn't know that in between, of course, at decision point. Because your wife needs to know that your mother is highly rated.
Yes.
Okay? But when you're deciding, you shouldn't involve them, because ours is emotional, you know?
Okay.
Ours is how we feel.
So the wife versus mother.
Yeah. So you need to tell me as your wife that, you know what, I think we shall go to the salon next week. Just give me maybe 4 days, and I put together this money.
So
and then
I keep the
wire money. You wire money
to
mom to go to the dentist, because sometimes you may not be able to reconcile our emotions, our reactions especially. You can be able to maybe control the pre, but usually the after may not be able. You may not be able to reconcile. So these relatives of ours continue to be very special to us even when we get married.
Yes.
And we need to protect their reputations. We need to protect their pictures. We need our spouses to appreciate that we love our people so much.
Yes.
We need to actually, there's even what we call exposure. You need to expose your spouse to as many of your relatives as possible.
That's you appreciate that you have.
Yes.
Right.
We call upon the in-laws not to be bad people.
Of course.
Because sometimes you extend your wife, for example, to your auntie, your sister, and then your sisters are not very good and receptive. But it is important for your wife to know so many people of your family and help them accept her, help her to learn them and accept them, so that at the end of the day, in case of anything, you never know.
Yes.
In case of anything, you could fall sick, you could get an accident, you could die, and this woman is in space. She doesn't know where to start. She doesn't know where you come from. You know, there are women who are married to men whose names they don't know.
Sure.
Yes, I know people who don't know their husband's second name. Someone knows Mehdi. Not even Muhammad, but knows Mehdi. Okay?
Oh, wow.
They don't know the tribe, they don't know where they're coming from, they don't know who the parents are. Someone is, but they're giving back to children.
Oh, wow.
So it is very wise to introduce your spouse. That is now in marriage. But in courtship, we just choose a few, one or two, because remember the hadith says that we are supposed to court in some sort of secrecy, not total secrecy. We are supposed to hide courtship, and we are supposed to pronounce marriage,
yes.
Because you might introduce me to your brother, and then your brother, whoosh,
he'll be swift at taking action.
You appreciate, eh?
Yeah.
So you have to be
very... And even he's better loaded than me.
There's so many things, you know how life can be, eh? So you have to be very clever. Why do we introduce to some? Because I remember when I was
I think I see the time is we should go for a break. Dear viewer, we are looking at dealing with blood relatives in our marriage, brother, sister, father, mother. How should we best relate with them vis-a-vis the needs and demands of our spouses? So inshallah, we are going to be going for a short break, and then we'll come back and continue the discussion.
Eno ye Salam TV.
Likira okusa okubeera omuwanguzi tomalaga safa okusa kwa bafala kyekyo ani akuwadde olukusa okutuyana ojja kutuyana mu biseera bye eby'eddembe. Peleka mikono tugende nyo okuwangula kuzibu ne wokosa MTN Momo wangu sasula obagula ne Momo okufuna omukisa okuwangula mobile money buli lunaku kozesa Momo app obanyiga *165*3#.
Let's live it up and party and have cracking good fun. When it comes to entertainment, DSTV's #1.
Is everybody ready to go, go, go?
We've got the zaniest characters to transport you away. The party is cracking, so why not come play? You're gonna love it. We've got so many channels and a ton of new shows, like Disney and Nickelodeon, where anything goes. So live it up with DSTV. We bring the fun. You know we're #1.
I'm one of the scientists now doing research on plastic technology recycling, where we can be able to produce other products from plastic waste. For example, we are trying to develop a plastic tile with sand plastic tile, that it is unbreakable, it can be shifted from one roof to another. So this is a project we are working on. It's our initiative as Kazire Group of trying to reduce waste from the environment. Brothers and sisters, taso butonde for a better Uganda.
This message is brought to you by National Environment Management Authority, Kampala Capital City Authority, Vivo Energy, Airco, Pepsi, Stanbic Bank and NBS TV.
Eno ye Salam TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillahi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Dear viewer, we want to welcome you back from the short break. In case you're just joining us, this is the Alhidaayah show that comes every Thursday 3 to 4 o'clock, and normally we look at the social system of Islam, especially hoping to provide insights on what are some of the key things we should take note of in a marriage relationship. So at the stage at which we are dealing with people who haven't yet entered the marriage. We hope that if you listen to this information before starting your marriage journey, you'll perhaps do marriage in a different way than those who are already there, even better than even our parents. Because as we noted in the beginning, marriage is something which some people have done through trial and error, and perhaps have survived, but there are those who trial and error has not worked out for. So if you have the opportunity of listening to some of the information, perhaps before going into the marriage, you should be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving you the opportunity. So I want to thank you very much for keeping it at Salam every Thursday. If you also missed out on the earlier episodes and you really want to benefit from the discussions we had earlier on, kindly go to the Salam YouTube page, type Alhidaayah, and then you'll be able to have a recap of all the content we had in the past. Hajat, before we went in for the break, we are looking at blood relations. We are chipping in-laws, but we'll give them a full show, perhaps next week. But I want us to focus on my relationship with the first blood, okay. My sister, my uncle, my father, my dad. Rights they have that I should be extending to them. And then secondly, we also have to look at how do we deal with some blood relatives who have got perhaps conduct that would say is inconveniencing to our marriage, right? You have this brother who is over controlling when they come to your house. Hey,
they just walk into
the kitchen and say, "Ha, mulamu mwafumbia bichi." What did you? Right? So we are still on the right bit of it. And before we went into the break, you told us that if you have cases of competing, perhaps needs to satisfy, then as a member of this marriage relationship, you have to act smart. You don't have to communicate. You don't have to communicate the decision expressly, but you find a way of managing. And I've learned that perhaps as a very key important thing. Now, there's something I wanted you also to throw light upon, which is the fact that in the course of me talking to my spouse, whether it is the wife talking to the husband or husband talking to the wife, you find there are cases where you're going to tell your spouse that, you see, my brother, yes, my brother has ABCD, he has this much money, and he's loaded, but don't worry, we shall also get there. And then we call it over familiarization of people. So how best should I do that? Shouldn't I reveal some of the people who are better than me or worse off than me, in such that my wife or my husband can feel some source of security in the marriage they are in?
Now,
Yes.
Let's first go to the right.
Yes.
Your mother,
Okay.
your father, your sisters, your brothers,
Yes.
and maybe even the close people that you
grandmother.
you have very tight relations with. I think they deserve, from me as your wife, they deserve respect.
Okay.
Every person who comes from your in-law side deserves respect. No matter how they come, no matter how they deserve that first-hand respect, because these are people who come in as the loved ones of your loved one.
Okay.
Okay? And you cannot tell us that you are failing to respect your in-laws and you will respect your husband.
Okay.
They deserve some bit of friendship. That is especially how, if they have also presented themselves as good people, they deserve to have some cordial relationship with you that has some boundaries, of course, because these are your husband's loved ones.
Okay.
They will never take another place. That is where they are, and these are people who know your person, who knew him before you found him. Your mother, your mother-in-law, your father-in-law are the ones who bore this person. They are the ones who raised him. They are the ones who probably have shaped him into what you now hold very dearly. So these first relatives deserve respect.
Okay.
They deserve love. They deserve care. They deserve some soft spot from you, and we always hope and pray that they come in a good shape, they come as good people.
Yes.
The other thing that I believe they deserve, a right they have, is access to their relative. You don't need to block access of your mother-in-law to her son.
Or to the daughter.
They deserve access. It could be a phone call, it could be a contact, it could be a physical visit, whether in good times or bad times. You cannot block these people. You don't need to disconnect them, because they are people who have chosen to cut their spouses from their relatives. This is very common when it comes to men who don't want us to check on our relatives, to check on our parents. Of course, cautioning the women not to make excesses of this, but you need to help your person be in connection with their relatives, because they continue to be, they owe their relatives certain things. Some of the people, you have married a woman and she's the principal in her family.
Yes.
She's probably the one who is the richest or has some money. She probably is knowledgeable in a certain area. So she's a pillar in her family. So she deserves or their relatives deserve that access to your spouse.
So Hajat, there's something that usually comes in, is the fact that this spouse, whether husband or wife, they are so much into over visiting their relatives, and every time you try to inquire, I'm at mom's place, I'm at dad's place.
Now that is not we usually call that that is stupid behavior. It is someone, I think, who was not prepared well when it was coming to marriage.
Okay.
And of course, this is now a parent's job, to help their daughter appreciate that their space at home has been minimized. I am not for the people who say that you don't have any more space here, your bed has been turned into firewood. Actually, I remember on my wedding day, my uncle, the one who spoke for our family, he clearly spelled it out that our daughter, we love our daughter so much, we are giving you someone we love so much. And he turned to me actually and he told me that, Zaitun, if things go wrong, we still have your bed and it is laid waiting for you. That message was, it gave me, I smiled and the in-laws jeered. I remember they were very unhappy with that communication. They could not, actually I think it is the first and last. I've never had that that kind of communication. I've not had it on any function.
So this person who is always into home, every weekend they have to find
the parent,
whether the man or the woman, because it is both cases.
Yes, of the girl or the man, to regulate, to remind them that they have now grown up.
But I'm fulfilling my duty of keeping bonds with my relative.
We don't need. We believe that you're
every
still
weekend
there.
I should
it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be every weekend. It should not be too regular.
So how
it
often?
Should be. I don't know. I don't want to regulate.
Because there's a lady I know, for her every weekend she has to go and help mom. Is it with household chores, right?
All right. If you must go to your parents' home as regular as you wish, hope it does not disturb the relationship you have with your husband. If your husband has no problem with it, you can go ahead and
how about if he's coerced into accepting?
Now, if men who are coerced into things, now me, I don't, those are people who are not supposed to marry. You should be able to adjust, and then you're like, okay, because some of the girls that you have married are very, because a person like me, and it's so funny, I'm not even the kind who goes back home all the time, but I want to spell out that I'm one of the loved people in my family.
In the family, yes.
I've shared with you here, but I'm not the kind who is always at home. And I don't know, it has helped me, I think, to strengthen.
So in other words, it should
be regulated and it should be communicated.
Then about functions?
Functions, for whichever function that I'm invited to, I should go.
Whether it is every month.
Whether it is bridal shower, whether it is what, it's me now to choose that one I should, because it's me who knows my people. You really cannot except when it is you who is funding and you're unable to fund.
Of course,
and then you're like, you know what?
Actually, normally the man's challenge is every function it has to cut in the pocket. And
it's why we tell women you should have some money also. Money that can fund some visits. But what I know, the visits should be regulated. The visits should be communicated.
Regulated
to me,
and
that is what is very important. I don't want to dictate how many times someone should visit their home.
But maybe let's first stop there. There's a difference between communication and getting permission. So which is which?
Now, me communicating is permission. That is me.
Wait, I'm already in Bokoma and Simbi. I want to visit your father-in-law.
You communicate when you're going, not after.
But today the practice is I communicate.
It is not right. It is not right, and it will kill the relationship.
So when should the communication best come? A day before?
It depends. It depends on when you got the communication. If you got the communication earlier, or communicate as soon as the invitation comes in, or as soon as
sometimes somebody can even get communication of a function a month earlier, and then they're going to keep quiet, and then the next thing you'll hear is, I'm already in the village. I want to visit mom. We are giving away my.
That is not right. It is it is going to affect your relationship. Partners to be should learn to talk to each other.
Okay.
Partners to be should learn to be open. No matter how hard certain things are, no matter how things are, you should learn to be very open.
So whether there is a visitation at school for your sibling, whether there is a picking up mom at the airport, they are coming from Hajj, we have a burial ceremony.
You let your spouse be. I think I've
you
always
need to communicate. The issue is communicating.
I know of a person who gave their wife permission to move as long as he doesn't even have to communicate to him, which is a bit also dangerous, but this is how he has regulated for him in order not to have headache anyway, because these are things that disturb us.
But is that open-ended permission, or it is just
this is what this, let me first complete what he said. The gentleman is like, if you're not moving out of Kampala, move.
Sure.
As long as it is within the district, you move.
And what time should she come back home?
It is, you leave your wife. Okay. You know, let me tell you one thing. If you think you're going to control your spouse, you are in the wrong institution.
Yes.
You need to help your wife, okay? Learn that she's a wife. You can guide, you can advise, you will regulate, but if it is control, you are in the wrong institution. Because when you control your spouse, you're going to lose them.
So even the lady who is always on the man, please, your functions are...
because there are people who have families that are social.
Social, yes.
For them, it is function after function. It is pilau after pilau. So what is he going to do?
Of course.
And it's not his problem that you're coming from the other opposite family. It is not his problem. We have families that lose people. There are families that die.
Almost every weekend.
Every other day they are burying somebody. And so you're going to control your husband's, burying.
So... Anyway, it all depends on the communication, as you have noted. Yes,
you need to love. You need to love and accept your spouse the way they are,
knowing that they have a long list of relatives that they equally have to attend to.
That is why it is important to introduce. If it means introducing your partner to 10 judges,
yes,
20 singers, because it is the family that you're coming from. You're coming from a big family. Because if you never introduce, now this person expects you to probably have a few visits there and a few functions there, but you're coming from a family that is dua after dua.
Yes.
And then you'll end up being a liar. And the other thing that we need to talk about when it comes to permission for moving out. Ladies, when your husband says no, don't go.
Just like that.
Which is why you need to know how you communicate with your spouse.
Okay.
When your husband says
no,
don't go.
But today's
don't go.
Ladies.
If you have negotiation skills, which you can call me and we learn, because we have certain buttons that we can touch, and this guy is like, go.
Okay, you go.
You appreciate.
How about if he just says go for the sake of you going?
We don't care whether you need me. I need a go.
As long as it is a go.
Or if you are no, you know what? Whose problem is it if you are good at saying things you don't mean? You appreciate, eh? But if it is important for you to take that no as a big thing, your husband is your protector, your husband is your guide, your husband is your master, your husband is now, for example, your dad and your mother, because remember you were given to him. He probably even has some foresight of some danger that might even be coming to you. I hope that the men who have this permission in their hand can give it to us with goodwill. When you feel that there is no need, all right? When you feel that there is some danger that you're sensing, when you feel that maybe it is some expensive thing that doesn't have to be, you need to give this permission in a very objective manner. Because if you are then a sabotager, someone who is a narcissist, someone who just wants to make people sad, now then you're also wrong, you're in the wrong institution. But you have this power for a reason.
Okay.
A man has the power to say you are not going. But we hope that they're using this power in the best way.
The best way.
Yes.
Okay, so Hajat, as we're winding up, I want you to talk to us regarding blood relatives who come into our homes and then they take it as an extension of their home. Sometimes even having to make a lot of demands, both to their wife and the authority. So how should the couple relate with such people? Should we just blacklist them, ignore them, and even tell please never set foot in our compound? Talk to us.
For some that need to be because we have relatives come on a spectrum.
Yes.
There are some that are too bad that you don't want even to come near your people.
Somebody is a known thief,
okay,
right?
and you clearly spell out.
Before
and you tell
you
this person, never come to my home. Tell your wife that this kind of person should never enter
here.
my courtyard. Now that is the extreme. But I think it's, I don't know if it's Umar radiallahu anhu or if it's the Prophet. I beg to be corrected. But I think it's the Prophet who said that in-laws are poison.
Sure.
Yes, they are better.
Yeah, it was Umar who said that please visit each other often, but never be.
Don't come together.
Never come close.
Because the conflict is going to be there simply because you have this loved one that you are all competing for. Yes.
No, talk to me of this brother who is a brother who is good at picking whatever they find. He comes, finds there's bread, there's perhaps even sugar. You just bought you 3 kilos, and the next thing you think, shoo.
Now,
so is that also competing for attention and love, or is just being a person who is just too much for us?
You know, because he believes that he has a right over his brother and his brother's property.
Actually, even over his sister as well, because
yes, and do you know we even have the extremes of men, of brothers who come and even fondle their sisters-in-law.
Of course,
yes,
I'm told
because
there's even a tribe in Uganda here where if the brother comes in, he will just put a spear at the entrance to tell you that please, I'm the one now in charge. Whatever I'm doing in the house, don't ask.
Yeah, actually, now when you will appreciate that Islam came in to regulate
culture,
the culture, especially when it came to these relations and relatives, because you'll appreciate that the relatives we are talking about, when we're talking Buganda,
yes,
they extend further than in Islam. Because
yes,
for us, the close in-laws, the people that are forbidden to be married to, for example, will just stop on your uncle. Okay?
Yes.
And yet in Buganda, even your cousins,
even your
clanmates, you know,
yes,
there are some extensions that we have to appreciate, by the way.
Of course.
When you think about them and look at them, there's
so
some sort of...
let's go back to this.
Those people who disrespect...
Comes into the house, takes the sugar, before even you know you have left some money, perhaps it was to buy the lunch, and before you know he has
taken it. Now this is usually the owner of the relative.
Okay.
Should be able to regulate their relatives.
So you think we should...
So if it's a brother-in-law, my husband should be in position to talk to his brother.
Tell him never...
Because if I go into that position, I might not do well.
Of course.
I might not even be understood. All right? Probably it's not even my space to be. But if it needs for me to put this person in their place, I know of women who have told of these people that, you know what?
Please,
just
give us space.
Just stay, because it usually comes when this husband of yours has failed to get the courage.
Of course.
Because it takes courage. For example, if now this person who is stepping into our house anyhowly is my elder brother, for example, sometimes it's not very easy to
sometimes it's your uncle.
It could even be your father-in-law.
Father-in-law himself.
You appreciate it. So that is why we need to go into far-off places, and you start your home a bit
reduce
so that the movement of in and out is not so regular. That is the only way we can be able to keep these ties intact. Otherwise, if we over interact,
yes,
there will always be conflict.
Or
sometimes it's just the conversation. Someone speaks and there are misinterpretations.
Of course.
All right. Sometimes it is me saying that I don't have sugar. The sugar that I have is for these babies, and this person will never understand. So the Islamic remedy of us having some distance between us, I think, might sort some of these things.
Then there's also another case of where this brother, sister, mother, dad, seems to be so contributing to our family. They come, they throw 100,000, 1 million shillings. Should I also regulate such people? For them, they should have an open entrance into the house.
Now, poverty. you know, marriage.
Yes.
Marriage and poverty are not friends.
Okay.
Because whenever you are a poor husband, especially because when money is supposed to be, men should have money.
Of course.
And I pray that our men have money.
Amen.
Because I know what money means to a man.
Yes.
Now, if people have to come and
whenever they come
to your family, you're in problems.
No, maybe they're out of the love, and they always want to come and visit you, and before you know,
people in the family, we have those who are handed to, and then we have
those who are taking out,
who are dishing out. So if you are the side where they need to throw,
where they always come and bring for something
of posho, you know, you are in problems. Because at the end of the day, even your wife will have issues with respecting you, because you are now in some sort of orphanage or what is this place where the
but I think they are doing it in the spirit of you should never visit someone empty-handed. And
no, that is understandable.
Yeah, and I think that is how they are doing it. That's the spirit in which they are doing it.
If someone comes to visit and comes with a boot of things, that is okay. That will not be done every other day. But we have people, we have brothers-in-law who choose to send mobile money to your wife every other week. Direct. Every, you know.
saying please.
And so your wife is like, Tata Fati. Haji has sent me mitwale tano. That is today. He's
supporting for our family.
He also sends, and he's sending to your wife. Because I think if there is any support that is need to be, has to be done, it's supposed to be given to me, without even involving my my what. And I'm supposed to be wise to say and not to say.
Of course.
But you sending money, dishing things to my spouse is very disrespectful. And we should be money. Let's make money. We pray that Allah accepts our dua, because families need money. Men, husbands
need money.
You don't want someone to give a zikr to your wife. You will never even understand it yourself.
But even there are cases where my brother-in-law gives me money because thank you for looking after.
I'm a good wife.
You
don't want that.
Thank you for looking after our sister-in-law.
Anybody
our sister
to give your wife money twice.
Wow.
You will never understand the message. You can never. Okay. I am told that even when you're dead, you don't want anybody to give me mapugo.
Sure. We are told after 4 months and 10 days, anyone can come and begin.
If you want to get the sense out, you come and visit my husband and just tell him to imagine when he's dead.
When he's dead.
He doesn't want to go there.
That will be for another discussion, inshallah. Dear viewer, we are coming towards the end of the show, and we are looking at Islam and the social system of communities. So we are trying to provide insights. Of course, they might not be conclusive of a discussion. You can also engage in the discussion and see how better you're doing it that end. But we are saying where you have blood relatives, you should be very careful the way you deal with them, right? What are their rights? Do you understand their rights well? How often do you make calls to them? How often do you visit them? It is very important, and you should define the boundaries. Then there are cases of where you have extremes, where you have these so controlling blood relatives who would come
familiarizing.
They familiarize with everything there is in the home. Then also there should be a better way. And our counselor has told us it is you that the relative to that person that is coming to talk to the other. If it is the wife and is having a brother that comes and picks up things, please talk to them. If it also means that, tell them please reduce on the times you visit us, you'll be better at doing that. But we hope that the discussion should be able to instill in you the urge to perhaps engage further with other people that can help us with the same. We want to encourage you that if you missed out on the aspects of the show, kindly go to the Salam YouTube page and visit, type in Alhidaayah, and then you'll be able to get the communication of the message that you would have missed out in the beginning. Inshallah, we hope that we've had a very fruitful discussion today. I want to thank our guest for always making the time to come and be with us. And to all our viewers, we appreciate you always for keeping it Salam TV. Till next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
eno ye Salam TV. Adhan ngekutuswako
Hotel Africana. Come as a guest and leave as a friend.